We have tremendous empathy for people with invisible differences of their brain and what can hold them back from being the truest version of themselves. Brain Power, our parent company, really focused on autism, with clinical studies showing efficacy in ADHD. Brain Power also concentrated on traumatic brain injury, an invisible difference that can cause a drastic change in your life, but with no physical scar to garner some sympathy for your situation. In the earlier days of the pandemic, we tried to better understand what other needs existed in the education space since we were already in schools and districts through Brain Power. Who would be the biggest recipient of a solution we could provide? It turned out that teachers themselves really needed assistance in this new form of learning. I interviewed and surveyed thousands of teachers and found extreme pain. At a meta level, SPED teachers were quitting at a rate of 25% a year, and aside from the huge economic impact on the school, there is a huge impact on the students. These are students whose lives are already difficult, and now there was yet another adult that had quit on them or left their lives. That's very difficult in terms of trauma. So, for many reasons, we want teachers to be engaged. How do we keep teachers in their positions? How do we alleviate their burden? It turns out the burden was mostly reporting. They are there for teaching, and they're for their kiddos, but logging data, monitoring progress, and writing reports take up so much of their personal time. Most teachers are taking notes on paper and maybe using spreadsheets, but even those take a lot of setup time. On top of that, not only are they logging the goal information each time, but they are also manually logging data like the date, time, class, etc., and then the teachers need to manually collate and present this data into a tidy report many times a year. Most importantly, all this information on its own feels meaningless. It is just a number. Teachers aren't able to see the progress their students are making. They don't have the satisfaction of visualizing their student actually progressing. Being able to see progress, even if it is slow, is motivating. FAST IEP always gives ongoing, real-time progress changes so you can see the progress curve for each student and each goal. We know what you can measure, you can improve. By repeatedly measuring, we are training the skill and talent. Teachers are always visually aware of who needs what and how to move the needle forward. We make everything a binary decision, saving time, improving reports, and reducing your burden. That is what FAST IEP is about. We focus on your needs as a teacher.